What's up? It's your boy Karceno for life. Not for the minute, not for a halftime, not for the moment, but for life. They've done everything in the game to stop me, but yet I'm still ticking. Now, let's talk about it, shall we? Y'all said, Karceno, we need a hood story. I do hood stories all the time. All the time. They just been on One Crack News. But now, y'all want them here on Karceno for Life channel again. And I'm like, YouTube is tripping. They don't like that stuff. They want Walt Disney now. And I've been moving stuff over there so to protect this one, because I just not Walt Disney. But you know what I said? I said, screw it. Hood story you want, hood story you get. Man, I'm dealing with this cold, man. Not nice. Now let's get to it. This is the story of Killer Man and P. Shorty. Now, Killer Man and P. Shorty, two hustlers. And these are hustlers from the 90s. But before we go into their legacy, we have to start it off right. See, Killer Man and P. Shorty got a lot of their success because you hear the name like Killer Man and you think he's a gangster dude that go around killing people. That is not true. His last name was Killerman, and everyone just called him Killer Man because that was his last name. His name was Killerman. Okay, that just came out of nowhere. That means I got paid. But thank you for that. But anyway, no, that was his last name. He's actually a white guy, so he's not running around killing people. His last name just happens to be Killerman. So it ended up becoming Killer Man, and because he's hanging around the hood. So it's Killer Man. So he started rolling with it. Yo, I'm Killer Man. So that's basically how it happened. P. Shouty, he was short, and his first name started with a P. So he became P. Shouty. And it's already a Shorty P, so he couldn't be Shorty P. It's about 50,000 Shorty P's, so he was P. Shorty. So now that he's P. Shorty, here we go. Now, before we can go into their legacy, we have to talk about the man who taught them all. Because they came up under their little clique before they became their little thing. They called themselves baby gangsters before we go into that thing. Let's go back to the 80s. See, they were all learning, all in awe of the one hustler of all hustlers that we knew at the time in the 80s. During that whole 87, 88 era, balling out of control with the Panasonic phones. If you guys even knew anything about the Panasonic phones that had the battery pack that could plug into cigarette lighters, you ain't know nothing about that. I had that phone. But anyway, that's beside the point. This was the communication back in the day. That was to solidify your hustle. David Benjamin. David Benjamin was that guy. David Benjamin was like the ultimate hustler for the younger kids looking up. Sorry. David Benjamin showed a lot of us that hustle didn't mean sell drugs. David Benjamin showed us hustle could be anything. He taught you the game. He taught you value. He taught you how to get it and actually make sense. He would talk as and spoke as a businessman. As he said, he almost lost his life. Some guy stabbed him and he almost killed him because he cheated a guy and sold him a empty cardboard box, and there was no VCR in it at all. It was just a cement block, and he sold it out of a van. And the guy ended up running into him again. So he was like, don't try to rob the consumer. Actually, it works out better if it's something that the consumer's getting for a good price and you getting money off of it and it's working out best for both. Then, you got repeat business and you got word of mouth. People spread the word and it can help out your business. And, that's only going to make you look good. So that was normally where we wanted to go. David Benjamin had a hustle in everything. Hustle was not a word that was supposed to mean illegal. Not all hustles are illegal. He grinded out. He had a job where he did construction. He did some lawn and garden. He had another construction business where he hired illegals and had them doing the work. He'd pick them up at 6, 7 in the morning. Got a car that he didn't rent it or some truck he didn't rent it, picked them up and had them do jobs, doing yards and doing masonry work. He had all these people working for him in an unlicensed hustling business. He showed you that hustle don't mean just sell drugs. He had hustles for every single thing in the world. And I don't know how this man was able to do all this stuff within 24 hours in a day. Because this man will still find time to put on the nice watch, the nice rings, and go to the nice clubs and see people and girls see him out. And he got the nice girls, he got the nice Lexus. He had the 92 Lexus back in like 89. Nah, but he had nice luxury cars. But 92 is when he first got that like money green Lexus. And he was pushing that heavy. And David, he was more like what I would say you guys could compare to Mitch, money making Mitch. So anyway, Killer Man and P Shorty came up under him, just like all the other people in the neighborhood, and they gravitated to him and hung around with him while the rest of us went to play football and all these other things. And I was the person that he liked the most because I don't know what it is about my demeanor that a lot of people see and be like, you different. Like you're not like the rest of these dudes. These rest of these dudes like to play themselves. You different. Yeah, I see something different in you. I don't know. I've always had that. For some reason, a guy look at me and be like, you ain't like the rest of these fools. I've always had that. I mean, Nipsey said the same thing. I mean, it's just weird. And Nipsey never sat down and met me face to face. He just knew me from the video and was like, nah, I see what you own and I see what you different. And I'm like, whoa. That kind of threw me for a curve, but I listened. And then I start to think, am I different from these dudes? And I'm like, yeah, I guess I am. And he was trying to teach me the game. He knew I was the biggest LL fan back in the day, and he knew LL through a guy he knew through New York from just hustling, a guy named Djvlad, and he knew Tragedy Gaddafi from like Mob Deep. He used to hang out Mob Deep because he used to always frequent New York and everything else doing his travels of hustling. So he used to always say, yo, my man Djvlad, no LL. When LL come up here, man, I'm going to take you to the concert. We're going to do our thing. That's that. So anyway, long story short, the game changed in the 90s. The 90s came like after 92, 93, 94, 95. During that era, this is the Killer Man and P Shorty era. They not little baby gangsters no more with the airbrush shirts. Baby gangsters. Now, these dudes are heavy in the hustling game. Killer Man has got something he's doing with car radios and cable boxes. Him and P Shorty. So P Shorty still got some other stuff he doing too with the dro. He ain't got into the dro game. Started selling some bud on the side. So they got all their little hustles going. Now, the thing is, while they growing, David Benjamin, he's got a wife, he got kids now, he's trying to go into a legit hustle. So when you try to go down the lane of a legit hustle, things started to sway off course a little bit because now you got a wife and kid, you doing things more regularly, your other businesses slow down or you lose money here and there, and all of a sudden he's not getting the new this and that. Now he's driving a minivan. You like, oh, what's up? It's David Benjamin. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he was the hustler back in the day, and he still go off that old fame that people knew he was hustling back in the day. But he still ain't that guy. Like, he ain't that guy no more. Like I was up there at the top, but he loved to go around people who knew him, so he could just get that. Yeah, man. Remember I had that money green Lexus? Yeah, man. I was doing it big and he ain't that guy no more. Now, P Shorty and Killer Man, they look at him and they almost ashamed he's there. They like, that ain't never gonna happen to me. See how he didn't fell off, man? Yeah, he coming around here with these old stories, man. He depressing everybody. They don't want him around. And this is the guy that taught them taught them the game of hustling. So they thought, man, what we doing ain't never gonna fall down. People always gonna want cable boxes, and people gonna always want car radios. See, here's the problem. No one can ever see the downfall. They only see the success. Technology is going to change, and I remember telling P Shorty that. I'm like, man, look, technology's changing, bro. It's 95. I got a Motorola gray analog cell phone. Now I heard they coming out with a digital. Times are changing, bro. Pretty soon they gonna change these car radios, and we gonna with the radios we still gonna get them with the radios. I'm just saying to tell you, technology is gonna keep changing. So, you gotta find new hustles. You can't just get stuck with the same old hustle, man. You gotta keep moving. But just like everybody in the game, they think they know every doggone thing. And when you run into those people, they don't like to have anybody tell them nothing. And when you see that, then what else could you teach him? So Killer Man decided, he's gonna add some more people to the business and bring them on in and help him out, because he's mostly responsible for the cable boxes, and P Shorty's mostly responsible for the radios. Now, they had these illegal cable boxes, what they was called hot boxes, and they can get them and tweak the boxes to where you get all the channels on the cable boxes, and anybody could pay them like 75 to 100. And so P Shorty came up with the idea, like, look, you got to rig these things so they go down, so they can bring them back to us, and then we can recharge it and redo it, then give it back to him. And he was like, I can't do all that. Now, if something go wrong, then it just go wrong. Then they could bring it back, and then we could fix it. You know what I'm saying? But this is still like illegal. You got to tell P Shorty that. So Shorty trying to double up, like, and give a quick lit. He forgetting everything David Benjamin was talking about repeat business. So it got to the point where they sold somebody a hot box, and the hot box didn't work from the beginning. It just, I don't know if it was the cable or whatever. So the dude was like, "Man, look, y'all robbed me. Just give me my money back, and I give you this." He's like, "Man, I ain't giving you nothing. You got the box. You paid for the box. If it work, it work. If it don't, it don't. You don't get no money back. You want to try another box? You can buy another box." So dude was like, "You ain't getting my money back? Bet." Comes back, more crazed than ever. Said he wanted to buy some weed. Trying to come there to get some weed. And P Shorty goes there to get the bag. P Shorty was like, "Oh, let me go back." As soon as he turns his back, the dude had pulled out on him and started firing. And he missed, but it was only because P decided, "Oh, wait a minute." Because he realized that once he got out the car, I forgot the bag. The drawer was still in the car. So he turned to go back to the car. And when he did that, the shots missed him. And he was like, dude was finna smoke me over some draw. Then he realized it was about the boxes. So now P Shorty's upset, and now he wants to do something about Homeboy. And Killer Man's like, "This is not what we need. This is gonna bring the whole business down. You worry about your car radios. I'll worry about that. Let him be. Don't cause no waves." So this was bringing friction between them two. And right away, he was like, "I gotta bring new people in." So Killer Man, that's when he started bringing in new workers to work with him with the cable box situation, because the car radio situation with P Shorty wasn't kind of panning out. Then P Shorty kind of got knocked trying to take a car radio out of somebody's car, and that person called the cops or whatever. They got busted in the process. So Killer Man had to bail him out. He had a court date. All this nonsense is going on. And out of all this confusion, David Benjamin is sitting back and he's listening to all this disrespect that these guys have been talking about with him. And he was telling them, like, "Look, man, young bloods, I'm going to tell y'all right now, man, y'all got to get yourselves together, man, because it's falling apart between y'all two, y'all brothers. Don't let nothing come in between that." And he was like, "Man, shut your old ass up. In here telling us how it was back in the day. We let you come around here, man, because you did teach us the game, man. But, man, you ain't on nothing now, man. What you doing? What you holding? What you wearing, man? Look at that. Man, them old pants, them old shirts, man. You want some money, man? Look, here. Get yourself back tight, man. Come back around, man. You know what I'm saying? You making my boys look bad." So David Benjamin, man, he just embarrassed him. He was just like, "All right." So David just got it. He took the money. He's like, "I'm gonna take the money." And he told me, he said, "Man, get from around these dudes. They clowns." And that was the last thing he told me. He was like, "Get from around these dudes, man. They clowns." Straight like that. Straight up like that. They clowns. Don't even deal with them. So I was like, bet. What the heck is going on here? Okay, it was a lot of activity that was crazy that just went bouncing around in here. I'm sorry. But he was like, "They clowns. Don't even deal with them." So it was like, bet they clowns. Clowns belong in the circus. So nobody really dealt with them too much, or they just did their little thing on the side. Come to find out, the new workers was working out perfect for Killer Man. He didn't even need P Shorty no more, who was bringing him headache. He just had to go get him out of the pen. That's bringing a lot of tension to Killer Man. So you got to remember something. P Shorty is blacker as midnight, and Killer Man, he white. So naturally, he's got the complexion for the protection. Nobody's looking for him. So he's thinking he's because he's so smart. No, the smart person who was actually being smart all the time was P Shorty, because he had to be. He knew he was being looked at. It's just that situations would always play out that it wouldn't go in his favor. But P Shorty was always very critical of David Benjamin because he thought that made him look bad. And everybody like, yeah, my boy's looking at me bad because you can't be my idol. That's like saying somebody you idolize and you see you got more than the people that you idolize. You know, you kind of like, man, I can't have them around. They're going to be like, you looked up to this guy ain't got nothing now. And they didn't want to kind of see themselves like that's gonna be my future. They didn't want that in their head, especially doing what they were doing in that business. So David Bitterman decided to sit back, not come around no more. Next thing you know, the guys that's working with Killer Man, they was working with P Shorty. P Shorty was like, yo, I'm gonna like get you guys, these dudes you brought in, let them work with me with the radio. So they boosted radio. And the radio business is going a lot better than the cable business right now. And the cable business got booming once Mike Tyson came back around. Now, when Mike Tyson came out of jail and they had the Peter McNeely fight coming up, I'm Hurricane Pete. Now, this was going to cost $50. And it was the first pay-per-view to ever cost $50. And they wanted $50 for the pay-per-view. But if you had the hot box, you can get the whole hot box for $50. You know, or if you knew the right person, you know, you had the hookup, pay 100, 125, and you got a cable box forever. So the guy was like, look, $50, you get this channel, all the pay-per-view channels and this and that. But if you want all the channels, give me 150 or 125 or work with me. You know, you can get the box, you get all the channels forever. So, but if you just want like just for the fight, I'll get you the $50. Y'all pay me the 50 and y'all got the pay-per-view channel, and you know, that's just basically it. They had the little box that was set up just for the fight. So people were buying those boxes from that like Tyson fight. Tyson's out of jail. Everybody's going crazy. Boom, 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 box, 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 box. The illegal boxes was going crazy out the door. To the fact that even the cable companies, for even the people who had cable, you had to get a special box. Like if some people they didn't have their cable on or didn't have a pay-per-view channel, you had to get a special new box for it. You had to go down to the cable company and get the new box and bring it to the house. That's how that's how powerful the Tyson McNeely fight was. Now the problem was when people got there and went to a new box, about time this fight broke out so that they can get the pay-per-view. So the boxes that Killer Man them dropped off and everybody spent all this money on to get, they didn't pick up the fight. They wasn't working. So when it was picking up all the other pay-per-view channels, but the fight channel it couldn't get because it was on a new box. And it was a new signal. Wasn't on the old signal. Now he said, okay, I gotta get the chip. Because it's like one of those cards you slip out and then you gotta slide the card back into the box. And he was like, okay, I can have a card for that, but right now, that's a new box. I gotta get that box and be able to copy that card and makes a bunch of cards for it. He's like, they got a new box out here. And he's like, and now people is like screwing up mad because they trying to catch him to get their money back after the McNeely fight. Because they ticked off, the fight was over in 36 seconds, but still, They didn't even get to see see the fight. So now they mad because they bought it just for that. So now his business is messing up. And now everybody's trying to find Killer Man to get their money back, and they finna do something to him and this and that. So he got to get low. He's like, look, I got to just lay low for a while. They know this whole move is illegal. Like, this is a hustle. Why they even stressing me? So I got to lay low for a while. So P. Shorty was like, all right, man, I got my, business going with these car radios or what's not. Next thing you know, one of the dudes was skimming off the top. One of the new guys that was working with Killer Man, that he helped him out with the car radio thing too. They found out that they were double dipping. So then he was like, man, this dude double dipping. He was like, so you was charging double. And you basically getting paid twice. You getting paid for me and you getting paid from Killer Man. Like, you double dipping. You ain't supposed to be doing that. Because Killer Man was like, no, I paid them already. So if they working with you, that extra hustle money, if you giving them an extra tip, I'm thinking that's what you doing. They come to find out they was like getting a double bubble off of them, paying them twice. So once he found that out, he told him, he was like, look, we ain't finna work with dude no more. I already told him. P. Shorty's like, I already told him. I let him go. Told him we don't need him no more. They out of here. Don't do business with him. They cut off. So he was like, what they do? He's like, don't worry about it. I'm just telling you. They gone. They ain't working with you, me. We do with them. They out the business. So Killer Man's like, damn. Alright, I stepped off for a minute. I came back. You told me my guys that I gave to you to help do your work, help you with your radio thing. You fired them for me and you. Because they was double bubble, whatever, and then you don't really want to go into it. Alright, well, if you say that's what it is what it is. We do business together, brothers. So now, they ain't working together with these dudes no more. But Killer Man knew he was making a lot of money working with these guys. So what does he do? He goes on the side and start working with these guys. He get them the new Panasonic phones. He said, I'm going to go and spend the money and get you these big Panasonic phones. Those phones cost about $1,000, 1,400, 1,300, depending on where you was. And you could pick up the phone and call them at any time. And now you got portable phones. But what those things does was that told the detectives, you guys are drug dealers or hustlers. So that brought a lot of attention to the guys, the new guys who he got the phones to, who was doing stupid stuff with the phones, calling up everybody else. Yo, man, I got one of them phones, man. I'm telling you, I'm on the bus right now talking to you. So now the feds is watching. So now you got the feds and the federal government is paying attention to this. So they're actually watching these people based off the Panasonic phones and seeing who these guys are, posted up on the corners using the phone out in public, doing all the things they weren't supposed to be doing, but they feel boastful because they got the phone. Now, P. Shorty don't even know Killer Man still messing with these dudes. Now, they agreed that they was out. Now they back doing business. And now P. Shorty still got his thing going with the radios. Now he's finna start a whole beeper company too. He's got his little beeper shop. He's finna open up a legitimate store where they sell beepers, and he gonna sell some used car radios. That was all boosted, but hey, it is what it is. Now he's over there finna open up on 111 around that area. Yeah, Wild Hunts. So while this is going on, Killer Man is being watched. He got all this stuff going on because these dudes end up leading him back when they went and picked up the cable boxes and they went to go get these cards for him to come in and do his thing. Now, when they get there, Killer Man got a whole everything, like boxes galore, all these old boxes. And when he go there, they got the cards, they doing all this. The government's watching all of it. Now you can get a federal charge because this is illegal. Cable plus the boxes, and now they need somebody to come in with the purchase. So the detectives set up a sting where they came in, posed as people, customers wanting to buy a bunch of boxes. A businessman wanted to buy them for his office, trying to do a sports thing. They hustled the hell out of Killer Man. They had a guy come in. He was a detective. He came in. I just opened this building here, and I want to have cable on every channel. So I'm got a sports betting thing, and I gotta have it going here, 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 and here. So he's like, I need you to bring the guys in, and I need you guys to set it up. And here's the money up front. So Killer Man's like, I'm going in. I'm gonna set it up, and I'm gonna get my guys and bring them in with me, and we gonna set all the boxes up ourselves. That's not something they do. They, right away, and then he didn't even tell P Shorty about it because he was like, I don't even really want to split the money with him. Let me go ahead and do the work I'm doing on the side with the people that he already said cut loose. Now they go in there, boom, sting. They got the boxes, they got him, and he got all kind of federal charges and this and that. What does he do? Gives up P Shorty. Cut a deal. Said it wasn't me. I had a partner. My partner was P Shorty. We were partners in everything. He does illegal radios and this and that. He does this and this and this and that. He didn't even go the first 48. He didn't even go the first 48. Killerman came into court. His parents was there. There was all these other white people who was vouching for him, and he was a guy who had all this thing in there. They brought in photographs and a video of his bar mitzvah. They had all kind of stuff in there for Killerman to make him look like a decent human being. He had a very expensive lawyer, and he turned on P Shorty without hesitation and immediately turned on him. When P Shorty went down and got busted for the car radios or whatever, and he came and bailed him out at the jail and all that, he never did anything to him. Never ratted out and said, you know, my man over there got the illegal cable boxes. My thing is, how can you even involve somebody who wasn't involved in the sting, had nothing to do with it, whatever? All that trial did was bankrupt P Shorty. Took everything he got from the lawyers and everything else, and he led them to the warehouse where the radios was and everything else. He got arrested and charged for all kind of thefts and this, and they cut a deal. He paid a fine. Never did a day in jail. Killer man. Never did a day in jail. P Shorty did time. Let that sink in. And when P Shorty was going through his case, guess who got him a lawyer to help fight his case? David Benham. So if David Benham didn't come through and give P Shorty, after all he did, fronted him off and everything, David Benham came around, gave him a lawyer. P didn't even have enough really for the lawyer. He had to keep coming back, hitting the lawyer, coming back, hitting the lawyer with a little something here, a little something there. Kill him and walk. He did a little community service crap, and he walked. He walked, Joe. That was foul. That was mad foul. So that's how that case went. That was in the 90s. Kill him and disappeared. No one has ever seen him again. Not in the state, not in the city. No one had ever met his parents before until this happened. So, if all you guys are out there and you're involved in illegal activity, I can tell you this right now. Try to make it legal as best you can. And if you are, you better know everything about your business partners. You better know their parents. You better know what they really are like. Because when the chips are down, you're going to really see who's going to be there for you and who ain't. And P. Shorty found out real quick in the hard way. Yeah, it crippled his business. He a hustler. He came back. He did a lot of things, but Killerman was gone. Nobody seen him in the States since. Somebody said he went to Minnesota or something, got married. He came back once, and that was that. But nobody cared. Like, he thought people was after him, and they really wasn't. They just looked at him like disgusted by him, but nobody's really chasing him. Nobody was after him at all. As a matter of fact. So hopefully this is something you guys can learn off of and get better, and it don't hinder people's lives. They can move on for something like this and take it, and hopefully it helps them improve in their lives. So on that note, I'm out.